Hello, welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan, and sorry I'm running late today. It's been a very busy day, end of a very busy week, frankly, and so I just ran out of time when I was getting ready to go live with the show here today. But I'm going to be on Bullroarer in just a little bit, showing off some Harvestmath stuff. I'll probably the rewards, and I'll be in-game probably running it. That's really what's up, along with the latest news. So, that beginning music is from Kingdoms of Harad. It is a preview track that was provided to us from its composer, Bill Champagne. The main thing we did this week was we had a special preview on Bullroarer for game performance, particularly in large group content instances. And we got ready for what could be our first Kingdoms of Harad preview next week. If everything goes according to plan, we should be able to have our first Bullroarer for Kingdoms of Harad sometime next week. Plan is to get something like 8 a game and some other bits out. So that is really what we've been up to this week, in addition to the news and things that I'm going to talk about. We have had a very busy week. We opened up transfers. We got a game update out. Whole bunch of things. I'm a little under the weather today. I have a bit of a cold cough kind of thing, a congestion thing. So I'll try to mute the mic if I need to, but just be aware I am, in fact, a little under the weather today after having a very busy week, up to and including seeing the new Tron movie. So maybe at the end of the show, because I think some people know how much of a Tron nerd I am, maybe I'll give my opinion on it. But there we go. It sounds like my cat wants to say hello, so okay. Hello, Lizzie. Lizzie says hello on camera here while we go through a little bit of news. So the main thing I wanted to say related to news, let me find this. Well, actually, the main thing is a very in this moment issue, and that is that the Dark World transfers are temporarily unavailable. We're doing some maintenance work on it, and we'll be bringing it back. My understanding is within an hour and a half, something like that. But just in case this morning, particularly the last few hours that you ran into Dark Worlds transfers issues, we've taken it down and we're doing some maintenance work to bring them back up. Okay, there we go, Lizzie. All right, going over to other bits of news. I want to make sure that you're aware of our free questing coupon. There is still time to take advantage of this. If you have not applied this coupon code, just do it. Apply it even if you think you have all this stuff. Anything you don't have will get added to your account, and this runs through November 3rd. The coupon code is Explore Our World, and it gets you a huge amount of quest packs. Also, if you do have a points balance that you don't mind spending, we have a couple of things at 99 points, quite a bit cheaper than usual, and that's for Return to Karn Doom and Gondor Renewed. We've seen, like usual, a pretty big bunch of people showing up as a result of this sort of thing, and it's a great time to be playing Lotra, a great time to be using this code, because you do have a few weeks yet, but, you know, November is going to hit before you know it. The other thing I wanted to call out is that this is a moderately busy weekend. We kicked off the Harvestmath Festival. That will be the focus, really, of today's show. But also we have a 25% crafting XP boost that runs through October 12th. Quick note, next week hits the 15th. That means the Forester crafting event comes back, and that'll go through the 21st. And also on the 17th, which is... a week from today, will be the Durin's Day event. So if you haven't run the Durin's Day event, or if you've only run it a couple of times, keep doing it. And that debuts at 10 a.m. on October 17th. All right, so let's get to some of the bigger pieces of news of the week here. The first one I would call up is that we have opened our Dark Worlds transfers. These are going to be continuing for a long period of time, something like at least 2 years. Sometime on or around early October 2027, we'll probably have more information about a specific closing time of these 32-bit game worlds, but that'll happen when we need to, basically. And so we're saying at least through August or October 1st, rather, of 2027, you'll be able to transfer your characters from the former 32-bit game worlds to our 64-bit game worlds for free using the live game launcher. So you'll just go in, log in, hit the transfer button, and transfer your characters for free quickly and easily, unless you're trying to do it now. Sorry, but the reality is, so we went live with this yesterday. I'm sorry, I should not have said that, but I couldn't help myself. It was funny to me at the time. Let me put it to you that way. But the point is, we went live with this yesterday, and as you might expect, but turned out to be true, the transfer service was very quickly overwhelmed with demand. And as a result, queues queued up. People had a hard time transferring. A lot of people didn't see their game worlds in the transfer button. This is working as intended. If it's not available to transfer from, it won't display in the transfer wizard. Right now, I don't even think you'll see the button because we're doing that maintenance. But if you don't see the button, that's also because there are no transfers available. And it just, demand is very high. So we're doing some work right now to allow for more successful transfers to go through, but we have seen a regular and steady stream of successful transfers, despite a large number of failed transfers, really just due to early days demand. So my suggestion is, if you're running into any kind of Dark World transfer issue this weekend, right now, yesterday, whatever, just hang on, give it a week if you can. And if you really, really can't, because like you got to bring them over for this weekend or something, do it on off hours. Don't try to do it, say afternoon Eastern time or nighttime Eastern time. Try to find some odd hours when the demand is going to be a lot less, and we have seen people do that and be very successful with their transfers. But the reality is, especially these first few days, and probably through the weekend, demand is going to be very high. So try to be patient with it, and we're getting as many people through as we can. Okay. But that's going to go on for 2 years. Thankfully, you've got tons of time to do all that sort of thing. You have a little less time to do what I'm about ready to talk about next, but we have offered some additional free transfers this week as well. These are free transfers between the 64-bit game worlds. We're offering transfers from some of our 64-bit game worlds just for performance and balance, and because people want us to do it, through Tuesday, November 4th. So basically that'll go until we bring the worlds down on November 5th, most likely. Something like 9 a.m. Eastern. But for now, you can transfer for free from either Orcrist or Meriadoc to Grond, and from Glamdring or Peregrine to Sting. And this is just about a little bit of population balancing, let people who already wanted to do that, and just sort of offer it because it makes a whole bunch of sense for a bunch of reasons. And you'll just do that through the game launcher. After November 4th, it'll go back to paid transfers. Obviously, the main question is, are we going to do more of this? What about if you want to go to Meriadoc? What if you want to go to Peregrine? It's on our mind. We might be able to do that. But really, this is about population balance and allowing people who already want to do it. You know, they've got CS tickets, or they've been asking, things like that, the opportunity to do so. And we'll see if we offer any additional free transfers in the future. It's something we certainly could do in the future. I'm sure we will at some point, but right now this is the only one of these that is planned. Okay, a few other bits before I get over onto the Bullroarer client. Quick note on our sales, and I know I try not to do too much sales stuff on the show, but I wanted to do it this time because we have more shared wardrobe space 40, 41, and 42, an additional 10 storage slots each. These are not a limited time. These are just added to the Lotra store as of yesterday. We do have 30 additional slots of shared storage, wardrobe space. Sorry, shared wardrobe space. And also, you should use this coupon. The weekly coupon is a freebie of a plus 20% mount speed for 6 hours, hoof to ground. Coupon code, why not? It's free. You'll get use out of it most likely if you remember to take it. You probably should. We also have a 25% crafting XP boost going on through October 12th. We're going to get to Harvestmath, as really the subject of today's show in just a bit, but we also released update 45.6 this week. That happened yesterday as well. We had a busy downtime yesterday. Opened up with the Harvestmath Festival, which has new rewards that we'll take a look at in just a second. The other bit we did is we did the work to reopen the 2 instances we had to close, and some other bug and performance issues in various instances like Temple of Utagabor and Depths of Mokta Korbo. You can find the release notes there on Lotra.com. The other one I call out for the Angmar and Mordor people is that the Nazgul logic is now updated, so it's going to trigger the victory at the start of the defeat sequence rather than at the end. So you'll get that completion right away, which is probably a good thing based on both performance and other reasons, and to not make people wait and what have you. I would call out real quick that I did update our Harvestmath guide this week for it to go live. So you can find that over on Lotra.com if you have any questions about where to go, what to do when you get there, how long does it run as the weeks go on. Just go to Lotra.com, go click on the Harvestmath guide, and it'll give you all the information that you need about where to go. Make sure you start at the party tree once you get your map. Excuse me, and pick up the wrapper quest. All right. Here are all of our new rewards. I'm going to get to that in just a second. What else do I have that I have not brought up? Let me see. We did have our, I guess it's second of the Casual Stroll streams this week. That is now available on our YouTube channel. Additionally, then we have another one next Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, and that is going to be taking a look at On Sheru, and that'll be 2 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/LotraStream. All right, let me go take a look at chat quick and see where we're at before I head inside of the game. Will there be another chance to move from Glamdring to Paragon for free? No plans for it. That's not to say we couldn't decide to do that if various reasons allowed us to do so or made us decide to do so. The one this week really is about population balance. And that makes sense. We want to ease for those who are interested in doing so or who already had plans to transfer if we ever did this again. The opportunity to get off of really Orcrist in particular, because Orcrist is the one that's been having server queues and things like that during peak population times. And this is really about giving the Orcrist folks a mechanism to move if they want to. But since we were doing Orcrist, it also made sense to do Glamdring in the US worlds as well, since they have a somewhat similar population trend. All right. I am aware, Telerian 1003, that our store folks are looking into some reports of points not being granted, or perhaps a VIP purchase not applying. So if it's not a universal thing, I could tell you that much, but I have seen those reports that our CS agents and our store folks are looking into that issue. If that has affected you, please do submit a ticket. I know it can be kind of frustrating right now to submit a ticket, but this is on their radar right now to take a look at, and they're going to need to know who was impacted if we're going to be able to do, say, an auto grant back or something like that. So now is the time to get in that ticket if you were personally experienced with an issue like that. Blinked my eyes and now it's October. Same. My experience is that the engineering team is... There's a question, can we just bring on an engineer to grill them for an hour, basically? And I love the idea of that. I would say that our engineers are exceptionally busy right now and do not have time for such things. Also are not really required to be faces in the same way that I am, and so have the option to be like, heck no, I don't want to do that. And honestly, you kind of need to respect that opinion. Unless you want to force them to be on, but then that's not what we want either. So, not everyone wants to be on camera. That's all there is to it. And highly skilled software engineers, in my experience, often fall into that category. But that's not to say they're not friendly and cool when you get them on camera. Any news on a release date for the new expansion? I want to guide you to our pre-purchase page for Kingdoms of Harad. I think you'll find a date listed there. Or our chat. Guess we put it in, someone copied that relevant text into chat. I have learned not to give release dates on these things. We have to give in a release date for whatever reason, but I think we'll hit that. I think we'll probably hit it, but we'll see. I've said that before. I am, speaking of Mordor, in a position very soon to give you formal timing on our next update to Angmar and Mordor. I need to do a little bit of work to get some localized copy out so that I can present this information equally in French and German. And I just ran out of time this week to do that because of transfers opening yesterday along with the patch and everything else. But it's really first on my list of things to do for our next messaging early next week. So as soon as I can get that copy turned around and out the door, we're going to have more formal timing on our next update for Angmar and Mordor. I also hear we might be delaying. I think we're also delaying our LI reward track currently underway on the live game worlds. I'm going to give you a little extra time for that to align it, I believe, with a release cadence. But I'm working on the formal information about that as well. But you can expect some kind of announcement about that next week. But it's going to be not a huge delay in the LI reward track, but it gives you a little bit more time to get it done, and so that we can align the next reward track with the release timing, really, of when the work can get into it. All right, let's head over to Bullroarer here. It's dark now. Okay. It wasn't dark when I started this show. I talked so long that my poor Cordovan character on Bullroarer this week is now sitting in the dark in Rivendell. See, I wanted to get a nice, cool backdrop for when I'm putting on these outfits, but now I'm sitting in shadow. So let me go and do something about that. I am on my official admin character, and I am not on the live game worlds. I am on Bullroarer, where we've been doing some real interesting work this week, including giving out our first round of a brand new title to the game. The title literally got added in game data on Thursday, even though we distributed it on Wednesday. This is a new title in the live game world called Fellow of the Bullroarer, and as you imagine, it's related to Bullroarer. I don't even know where this idea came from now, but for a while we've been thinking, based I think on some community person, someone in the community saying it, just like, hey, we should have a title for Bullroarer to bring people to Bullroarer, so that if they go to Bullroarer they can get a title, and that'll work. It's an opportunity to do that, and like usual, eventually we'll offer it other ways. I am pretty sure this will eventually end up in Extra Life, or the community loot list as well, but not for this year. right now, if you want the fellow with the Bullroarer title, you're going to have to go to Bullroarer. And we did that this week. We gave out the titles for the first time. We'll be doing them TBD, but in the future, whenever we might want to see what we can do to encourage logins on Bullroarer. So stay tuned for that. That happened this week, and so Cordovan was on Bullroarer, and now that I'm on Bullroarer and our transfer service is down and other factors, I am actually showing off the Harvestmath stuff on Bullroarer rather than a live game world. So here's what we got. We got a bunch of items. Cobweb cloak, hooded cobweb cloak, cobweb hat, cobweb robe, a Harvestmath handheld cauldron offhand item. Then some housing items. These I am not able to show you in place today because I don't have a house on Bullroarer on Cordovan here, and I ran out of time to get one set up. So we have the heating cauldron, the small potions table, pumpkins. These are all like furniture and mobile yard and yard items. A webbed thorny hedge, and a wild webbed hedge. Everything else I should be able to show you, except we also have these new audio categories for your house. Haunted yard ambience, haunted house ambience, and spooky themes for ambient music. So that is pretty sweet if you are a Halloween fan like myself. But let's take a look. Oh, we also have some pets here. We've got the Tome of the Autumn Oryx. Let's show off that Autumn Oryx. There we go. You just kind of work. All right, and then we have Tome of the Pumpkin Horn. Work. Actually, that turned out. That's pretty good. Squash. All right, let me leave that up for a second while I take a look at chat. Got the hobby broom, want the cauldron. Yep, we'll show that off in just a second. Definitely have some hobbits interested in getting that Bullroarer title before the next Bullroarer day. Yep, great for a mount hook at a premium house. Cool if the Fall Festival had an instance for special items like Yule and Midsummer. I would imagine that at some point we will do that. The work that we've done this year on other festivals, I imagine, will at some point hit Harvestmath. This year, frankly, the team was the people who do that work, person in particular, who has done a lot of that work, although others have too, but MVP has done a lot of the heavy lifting on some of this new event space work. And my understanding is they've just been busy doing their stuff. So have to get that expansion out after all, but I would imagine at some point here we will probably do something for really all of our festivals to give them a bit of a refresh and bring them up to the kind of same tier we've been doing with, say, like the Midsummer this year. All right, let's get back to the housing stuff here real quick. Again, I can't show you that, but I can put on the cosmetic outfit here. So let's do that. I am going to show the non-hooded cloak. Oh, get these turned on. All right, so the webbed cloak. There's a hooded webbed cloak as well. Maybe I'll put the hooded on here. Oh no, because I want the hat. So there we go. Got the cobweb hat. Very cobwebby. The robe. The cauldron, which as you can see is similar to the bucket, but a cauldron. All right, there we go. So I am just going to put that on. I think I can take that off. Snow boots will go with that, and we don't need the shoulder pads. All right, we're all good, I think. So we are going to do this. All right, let's put this person here for a second while I look at chat again. Yeah, I would imagine if they're not up already, they will be up soon at Deco du Milieu. If I've been able to do this on the live game world today, I would have shown you the housing items. But I just ran out of time to get set up with the house on Bullroarer. So that's just how it goes, I guess. It is a large hat, deliberately. It is true, Druid's Fire as well, that with the addition of Wistmead, in some ways you could say that the Harvestmath Festival already received its second zone update, but it's been a while, and Wistmead has been a while, and the party tree area and such, has been around for a long time. So I would not be surprised if at some point we did find something else to do here with Harvestmath, because Harvestmath is a very popular festival in Lotro, and frankly, this time of the year is a very popular time for video games to try to attract people to play Halloween-themed stuff. So, Biz runs on pumpkins? Question mark? I guess. Pumpkin spice video games. We're all into our pumpkin spice video games sometime around this time. And usually by around Halloween, that interest has waned somewhat. But until, especially this first part of October, we tend to see some nice crowds here for Harvestmath and things like that. So we're going to do that in just a second but I do want to just hold this up for just a bit, get caught up on chat before I change clients. No word, unless Scenario has said something that I haven't caught about, quote, super duper elf housing areas. I would imagine at some point Rivendell and other housing will be happening, however. I like this pumpkin horn for sure. I am not aware of the dyeability of the cloak. My thinking might be it would be difficult given the mesh that it is, but maybe I don't know such things. Ooh, a torch. I should get a torch on my admin for a light source. Although, if I'm on an admin and I'm not on a live game world, I can play some games on lighting. I have not seen the results of all our Bullroarer testing, so I can't really speak to what we determined, but I know when I was there yesterday in particular, we were getting a lot of good information, and our engineers were gathering that data and going through it all and finding good things to report. So I know that what we did has at least appeared to make some progress. However, I also am of the belief that it may have uncovered the next thing that we get to do. So what kind of impact overall when this hits the live game worlds, I couldn't tell you at this point. That was sort of the point, is we're really about gathering data rather than promising a performance fix with this one. But we need to gather that data, and thanks to your assistance this week, we were able to get that done. So thank you to everyone who did take part on Bullroarer this week. All right, I think I am caught up on chat. So let me change screens here real quick. And I need to actually change clients. Got to log into the regular live game client so I can run Harvestmath stuff. The idea of progressively building up an area in the Lord of the Rings Online has been part of discussions amongst the team for pretty much as long as I can recall. I think it's safe to say that pretty fundamentally it would be a big heavy lifting project to be able to offer sort of permanent to semi-permanent adjustments to the game world based on your progress that you've made. And we've done that actually in a few places, but not maybe to the extent being posited in chat, which is like a height bold style mechanic where you can rebuild the area you're questing in. the way you would do that in a practical sense is you would need to have different instances of it. And so people at various points would be funneled into different versions of that landscape area. And from a practical sense, that's difficult to pull off successfully without having to make really 5 times the landscape for 1/5 the benefit, for example. Maybe not quite that. But I think there's some real challenges to both creatively, technically, and then have you made things better or worse at the end of the thing. But conceptually, like in a way where you didn't have that sort of restriction on the landscape and you could rebuild objects over time and just have individual objects perhaps proc off where you were, which means like the person sitting next to you could see rubble and you don't. But then that's weird too, isn't it? And so there's a whole bunch of considerations into doing something like that. But it's the ideas of it have certainly existed. And a lot of these problems also, I think, go away when you look at instances rather than landscapes. And so perhaps there's some things we can do in the future there. Orcrist is always on our mind in regards to performance. That's really the main reason why we opened up this free round of 64-bit free transfers this week, is to continue to try to offer efforts to alleviate some of the stress that players are experiencing on Orcrist, including server queues. I cannot strongly encourage you enough that unless you have a need to be on Orcrist, consider it. Consider it, please. A lot of these problems will not perhaps be as pronounced if you don't force yourself to play on an overly crowded world. But we can't make people do it either. So, and every time I bring it up, you know, it can cause some conflict. But at the same time, we've been very clear since the very start that Orcrist should never really needs to have some population balancing, self-directed, taking place. And we've been doing our best to try to offer that to you, while doing the work to make it as robust a server as we can offer, and beyond. I understand. I mean, I know every one of the arguments that you might say about, yeah, well, I want to play there. Great. Do it then. No one's telling you not to. But the reality is that, you know, from the very start, Orcrist had some population trends that were unfortunate. And we've been doing everything we can to work on the byproducts of that really ever since. Okay. I seem to have gotten lost in the haunted burrow. I guess that's normal, isn't it? I'm going to try to retrace my steps here, however. I believe it's here, here, here. I thought there was something back here. Oh, here we go. Here. Here. There's a scared hobbit. Okay, I've run there. So then that. That's the one barrel rack. Here's the other, and I want to go back out here. Okay. Oh, it's locked. I need to go the other way then. So that is not, oops, not through the completely hidden chest, but down this way. Shark? No. Where's the... Alright, here's, just, so it must be over this way. Yep, here we go. Okay. The choices were never Orcrist or RP. We were very, very clear that it was just an RP encouraged server and that it was a regular game world. This kind of idea that you couldn't transfer because it was RP was self-directed. I mean, you can play on any world you want. That's the reality of it. But the idea that I can't play there because it's not the... It's an RP world. It's never a thing. Okay. Where do I want to go? I am on this side now. That's going to take me back to the party tree. That's going to be locked. That's the bookshelf I went through earlier. Do this. I don't know, because I have not really worried about burglars and stealth. Okay, well, if I already found Donatus, or Dinotus here, then I don't want to go here, do I? It would be nice if we could up the performance of servers like Orcrist. We have. Orcrist has the absolute most amount of resources that can be thrown at a Lord of the Rings online server. And that's the work that we've been doing, really, since we launched Orcrist. You can always do more. You know, at some point, the scale of budget and realistic ability to do gets kind of intense, but that's not to say you couldn't do it. I need to go back to my doors and I think pick the other door here. So... Cytox, the reason for choosing Grand and Sting is due to population balance desires. So we picked the worlds that we want people to move to the best of our ability to do so. Elbreth, if you are, quote, coming across YouTubers telling people they shouldn't go to Peregrine unless they RP, well, tell them to stop saying that, would be my suggestion. And if they choose to say it anyway, well, people can say whatever they want. Why not just get rid of the RP tag? It's been explained from the very start to you, I believe, even several times already. But it's just as listed in the article that RP means that we want to offer guidance to those who wish to RP. That if they would like to group with other RP people, this could be a world for them. Has nothing to do with forcing people to RP or anything like that. So that's nonsense. Okay, I am definitely having troubles in the haunted burrow here. I am not burrowing very well. Because I can't remember where the heck I'm supposed to go. Imagine that. Also, didn't I just go through this? I did. Okay, so I'm going to leave the burrow. Then we're going to do something else. Yes, a lot of people appreciate the RP tag. So. Let's head over into Wistmead. Which is really one of the bigger questing areas. You've seen it on this show plenty of times. If you're a long-time Locher player, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're a newer Locher player and haven't had a chance to see Wistmead and the Harvest Festival, this is a great opportunity. When you log into the game, you're going to get really a thing in the upper corner in the quest panel up in the upper right there. You'll click on that, you'll get a map to the party tree, go click on the map to the party tree, pick up the quest wrapper and explore some of the quests if you want to. And then you can head over into Wistmead here, which is a nice spooky place where you get to do all sorts of things. I actually feel like I was running Harvestmath not even all that long ago. But since we only have like 10 minutes left here, let's do that. So. Harvest Fest, best fest. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know. I mean, you could argue. You could argue Yuletide or Harvestmath, and if you want to, you go ahead and do that.
Stay and have some tea.
But it is pretty good way to get things. I'm not going to take the Fog Noggin Ale yet because it puts the thing on the screen that is a little distracting, perhaps. But we can thwack goblin gourds, no problem. Where did my goblin? Here we go. There we are. True, you could also probably argue that the new zone for Midsummer could perhaps be your selection. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. All good choices. I have not generally found, you sometimes have to, other people will take the gourds you want before you get there or whatever, but for the most part, these things spawn pretty quick, and it's not too difficult to do. I don't know if we're gonna do a joint kind of Summer and Yule again. I don't know. I assume you want it. Otherwise you wouldn't ask, right? But, good. Idea of it's pretty... makes sense.
Oh, good day.
Oh, I'm not going to go in there yet. I didn't catch that we had made those. There must have been a bug, huh? Must have been a bug with the gourd flinging last year. Okay. Perf issue. That's unfortunate. So, I have a few minutes left of chat today. We can go a few minutes long if I need to, but I don't know that I'm actually going to need to, because I think we pretty well got things spoken about. I don't know if there's really anything left I've got for you. As some of you know, I'm maybe a giganto Tron nerd, and I know that the new movie Tron Ares came out. I theoretically took Wednesday off this week. You may notice I worked a bunch, but I still took Wednesday off so that I could drive all the way up to Danvers, Massachusetts. It was like an hour and a half drive for me. So I could see Tron Ares and Tron Legacy and the 3D IMAX. The theater was one of only like a dozen or so that were set up to do this double feature on Wednesday as like a special early screening for Tron nerds. And that's me. So I went and did that. And I had a great time. Had a really great time with it. So I think if the short version of the question is it worth seeing, is, oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm not really going to give an opinion on the movie, but, you know, it was a really cool time that I had this week, and I think if you're just looking for a basic, fun movie to see, it's real good, and you absolutely don't want to save this one for, like, streaming later. This is definitely go into the big screen digital thing, if that's what you're into, and do it that way. And in 3D, absolutely. Absolutely. Is it a great movie in terms of, like, film quality? I'm a little conflicted. I definitely don't love it in the same way I immediately loved Tron Legacy, I can tell you that much. But that doesn't make it a bad movie or anything.
Hello there. Might I speak with you a moment? Good day. Might I have a word with you?
And I think I'll leave it at that. Those were my initial thoughts. I had a blast. Oh, and I even got these cool little Tron pins, exclusive little Tron things for seeing it in IMAX. I had these little, I guess I could pop them out. These little discs. Making pin disc things. It's pretty sweet. Came with my movie ticket. That's a good time. So... Okay, I already have, or do not have, where am I going for this? Okay, I'm going around. I keep forgetting, I really need some new monitors on this computer. I think when I've got the light set up like right now, I ran into this last week. I really kind of had a bomb of a DDO stream last Friday. I just struggled. I was just struggling to not bomb on camera. And a lot of that problem was I couldn't see the screen because it was a dark environment with these. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 spotlights that you maybe don't even know because it's all part of color balancing and everything. But I also need some new glasses. And I think it's coming to roost. I think I need to do something about it. Because I am having a hard time seeing when things are dark on my screen and I got these lights on. Maybe I should just turn the lights off, but then the lighting doesn't look as good. And I need all the help I can get, man. Alright, where are we at, though? I'm actually in a really tough personal position right now, related to my computer, which is that the computer I'm using to stream right now is Windows 10 only. I bought up quite a bit up in 2019. So, like, in terms of can it game well, do the graphics well, the answer is heck yeah. However, if the question is, can I run Windows 11? The answer is no. And you can't do it unless you swap out the motherboard. So that puts me in a tough position here, because, like, work isn't going to buy me a personal computer to stream. And I don't really want to buy a whole new computer just because I can't run Windows 11. But I'm in this tough place where I kind of have to, don't I? So while I'm at it, I really need to buy a computer that'll support something like a nice 4K monitor and then 2Ks, and they should all be the same brand lineup to the extent that I can run them side by side like I like to. And that means a new power supply and all that sort of thing as well. So time to get a new computer, I think. About the only thing I can save is probably my 3060. Except nonetheless, everything's running fine except for that. So, well, and I could use a new hard drive, because my hard drives are kind of slow by today's standards.
A lovely day, isn't it?
That kind of sucks, and I know I'm not the only person in that position. I bet there's a whole bunch of people who are like that. Can I remember how to get through the wheat maze without looking it up ahead of time? Let's see. No. Yes. No. Go. Yes. No. No! I'm already lost. Darn it. Trying to go from muscle memory. But this isn't right. I already know this isn't right. Yep. I don't think this is right either, though. I did take the wrong turn at Albuquerque. Yeah, I'm going to have to look up a map. I don't remember how to do it anymore. It is a left out of the gate, though, isn't it? Maybe it's a left and back, though. Huh? So it would be left, back, And then instead of going up here, go this way. No, it's the... Yeah. Well, there you go. I don't remember how to do it off the top of my head. Next week, maybe next week we can, after I give it a few runs, we can get this job done. So, well, thank you everyone for watching Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I will see you next week with more. We will either do Harvestmath or maybe we'll be on Bullroarer if we do get out that Ada game preview. I know there's some sensitivity to showing spoilers, though, on this show, so we'll see. I know that we got previews that Scenario's going to be doing for the next couple of weeks. I've got some thoughts in my head about what we can do in November. We have Extra Life coming up. I'll be working to get that out in the next couple of weeks in terms of the new stuff. Got at least some returning titles that should be of interest to some people. And a bunch more too. So thank you so much for being here, everyone. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.